A lot of times Christians want to experience spiritual things, right? And I'm not saying it's a bad thing, but you have to understand one thing, all right? If God allows you to experience any spiritual things, it's supposed to help you go after God, not, become prideful and say, oh, I saw this or that. And a lot of times Christians, they make it almost like that is their important walk as a Christian, to go see if they can look at, they can see demons or angels or whatever, right? But you have to understand one thing, okay? God made the earth so that we could live on the earth, on the natural realm. And so you were created from the natural realm of the dirt and supposed to live here. And so you have to have a foundation, and you have to function within the laws of the natural realm. When Adam and Eve is able to fellowship with God and be multi-dimensional, that spirituality is to touch and fellowship with God. But then when God leaves the garden, they were back on they were back on the earth, and they were taking care of their business on the earth. Okay? They weren't trying to go look for other things. And so your job as a Christian is not to try. So you have to understand what it means to be spiritual. All right? Being spiritual is not like your eyes go and the whites come out, and then you're like, oh, I see a vision. Oh, I see the demons chasing after me. Well, that gonna pay your rent? Oh, that gonna get you a job? That don't do nothing for you. You have to learn how to function here in the natural realm, so that you can feed your families and pay your rent and be productive, and perhaps even go into ministry for the Lord. When you're messed up, you will actually see more demons. Okay? When you become more normal, you're going to see less of demons. Because when you see more demons and you want to brag about it, you're actually heading towards hell. That's why you get to see them. Right? And if you ought to see them, so what? Like I said, well, they're gonna work for you, pay your rent. Right? You get back on the earth and learn something, and get a job. I'm talking about everybody. Get not only a job, but something that takes you on a higher level, where you can reign on the earth, right? A high position where you could shine for God by being the example at a higher caliber position or somewhere, rather than at the bottom telling everybody that you can see angels and devils or whatever. And I'm not saying that when you can see that, I'm not saying it's a bad thing, but I think you have to realize that if you're able to experience anything, is to actually point you back towards God and to help you with your faith that reality does exist. But like I said, this is your home. This is your realm. God made the earth for us. He didn't make the earth so you can get out as soon as possible, right? He made the earth for us, and we will get the earth back one day under full authority from the enemy. And so I want you to pursue God, not pursue events. When they followed Jesus, they were basically entertained. And Jesus is like, why are you following me? Because I can feed you? And you like to go, wow, you can feed 5,000, and so you're following me? And he said, you don't even understand why I do this. They weren't trying to figure out how or why this is happening. They just like to be entertained. That's like, wow, miracles happening, let's go there. And that's how humans are. We like to be entertained. And you can totally miss the point. Because if you follow God because you want to experience extraordinary things, when he tells you to drink my blood and eat my flesh, you're going to walk away. Because you're going to like, what does that mean? Drink your blood and eat your flesh. I'm just here to get some free food. If I follow you, you're going to feed the thousands and I get free food and entertainment. And so John chapter 6 says that they stop following Jesus and walk with him no more. You see, there's a level of people that's going to follow Jesus because they're going to experience certain things. They want God's help. They want God to pay their bills and feed them. But when God now gives them the bread and butter of the Gospels, they can't handle it because they didn't really come for Jesus. Because if you really come for Jesus, you're going to be able to and willingly lay down your life. Because if you're not willing to lay down your life, you're going to walk away from him at a certain level in the journey. And so you need to think about this, all right? I want you to think about, what does it mean to be a spiritual person? Does that mean to experience spiritual things? Does that mean that when you walk around in public that you want to talk and speak in tongue and go, or that when you even get together and hang out, all you want to talk about is spiritual things? No, just have some coffee and talk about, the weather or something. It's okay. There's a time for everything, amen? You have to have that balance, okay? That although this reality is not the real reality, you're stuck here. And you have to know how to function here. And that's the answer to that, okay? You have to abide by his laws of gravity, laws of physics, man's laws, Roman law, US law, whatever law. And do your thing, that's it. Marriage law, kids law, job law, okay, picking your nose law. Don't pick it too hard, you'll bleed. And you'll be fine. What does it mean to be spiritual? What does it mean to pursue God? What does it mean to have a relationship with God? Everybody just presumes, I'm having a relationship with God, and when they go evangelize, hey, you want to believe in Jesus? Why? So you can have a relationship with God. Okay, what does that mean? It means to accept him. They don't have an answer because they don't have a relationship really. It's just acknowledging that they believe in God. That's all it is. All right? That's all it is to them. And so you have to think for yourself. Am I really having a relationship with God? And you need to ask God, am I having a relationship with you, God? Or am I just deceived? Sometimes we get Christians here. Last night we had the one visitor who sold the car to Joshua, the car salesman. He used to be a pastor, okay, in Europe. And he said he met his wife, who was a nurse, and she was very dominating, and she made a lot of money as a nurse. So she was telling him, you follow me. And he says, they eventually divorced because he says, I wasn't raised like that. I was raised by my dad to go make your own money. But he was a pastor. His son's a pastor in the LA area. He hasn't been to church for a long time, okay? And I didn't invite him. He just like, I want to come to church because he feels probably a little guilty. So he came last night, as some of you met him. And if you watch people, it doesn't resonate a lot of times, like the connection. And so people will come to church who haven't been to church for a long time, and they're like, they can't get that, that original touch. So what I think people do is like, they'll come to church and just say, "Hi, God. Hi, God, I'm here." Like a parent, who doesn't live with the family or been separated on a holiday. "Hi, guys, I'm here." And then they leave. And in society, you still define them. That's my dad, that's my mom, even though they don't live with you or they're not out in your life. And you think it's a relationship because you might call them once in a while, or on holidays. They might send you a present, and you still have some connection. So we want to believe I have a relationship, and you want to believe that one day everything's going to be nice and cozy. When most of you already know that's not going to happen. And this is how we treat God. The same way we treat each other or your own family members. "Hi, God," and then we never come back for a long time. And we still think we're going to go to heaven. And they still think, I'm your dad, you're my son, you're my daughter. Only because, there's a connection of blood, yes, but there's no relationship. And if you treat God that way, "Hi, God, I'm here, and I want to acknowledge you every day by saying, 'Help me,' that we have a connection." It doesn't work that way. You have to ask that question to yourself and to God. Hey, do I really have a relationship with you, God? And what does that mean under your terms? Not what I believe based on tradition and culture or what I've been through, but what does that mean as far as God is concerned? And if you read Malachi, what we're going to go over today, Malachi chapters 1 and 4, God is telling his people, "You left me." And you know what they say? "What are you talking about, God? What do you mean we left you? We never left you." And he's like, "You left me." Their mind is like, "We never left you because we're still thinking about you. We're still complaining to you. And, we're still coming to the temple even though we're disrespecting you. We're still here, God." And God's like, "No, you're disrespecting me. You've broken fellowship with me. You despise and resent me. Even though you're coming to the temple and you're still living in Jerusalem, you've left me." You see, it's not about a physical, like if you go visit your family and you're like, "I'm here." It doesn't work like that with God. Your mind has to change, and the thinking needs to change on what is a relationship with God, what is leaving God, abandoning God, and betraying God. All right. Anyway, Joshua Vale looks very happy over there. You're very happy, Joshua? Joshua, in our church, we have several people who were addicted for different reasons. Joshua Vale was addicted with drinking and drugs for like 20 plus years. Yuna here was addicted to drugs also for like 20 plus years. She's in a better condition right now, right? She was homeless. She, in last year, she got caught shoplifting. She's 39, 40 years old. And so she went to court, and they're like, "We're going to send you to jail." And she's like, "No, can you send me to rehab?" She went to rehab. She calls us. "Can I get another chance? I've been homeless and a drug addict." So now she's under the elders here. She has a place to live. She has food. We're covering her rent for right now. She got a job now, so she's fine. Sometimes though, they don't know what fine is, and so she'll come, and maybe her hair's not made, and she'll look like she's having some kind of party, self-pity party. And then Joshua Vale over there, even though he got delivered, he might want to cheat still and take a I was addicted for 20 years on cigarettes. There's David Beamer. He was addicted for 20 years too. So we have people who've been addicted for a substance. Some of you have been addicted for scratching your butt for 20 years too, Can't get the itch out. try to go bond, it doesn't work. When you're addicted to something and you cannot break it out of your own choice, you are a slave. And a slave to sin, you will receive the wage of death. And if you're addicted to some kind of sin, you will go to hell. Because you're a slave to that sin. You're obedient to that master of sin. When now we pray for those people, because we're praying like, God, help these people. They're under addiction. They're under bondage. And now when you get delivered and you don't have an addiction, now it's your choice. And if you choose to go back to that vomit, praying ain't going to help you, because you're not under bondage. You're under your own choice. And so prayer ain't going to help you. God requires you to choose. You want life or death? Because I broke that chain off of you. Now you choose. And if you want to go back to your own sewer, well, you're going to get flesh. Should we videotape it sometime? All kidding aside, but that's the truth. Okay? Whoever's been set free, don't go back. Because you ain't going to be able to come back. That's like trampling on God's grace and spitting on the cross. Only when you're under bondage, you will get grace through other people's prayer. But when you're free and you choose, because you can choose. When we sin, okay, all of us here, you can go on your phone and look at something you're not supposed to. It's your choice. Some people are addicted to porn. They need prayer. But if you can choose whether you want to go on or not, you're choosing whether you want life or death. And if I know that you got a problem that you can choose to come out of it, my prayer not going to help you. I'm going to have to get the belt and whip you. Okay? You want to choose wrong? I'm going to get my belt and whip you. What you doing? But sometimes that's what you need, all right? You know, grace don't mean, oh, poor thing. You smoking again? Oh, please stop it. Let's be kind and nice. Stop it. Now you peace out. Better get off that pipe. Okay? When they're bondage, now you be nice, because they're a slave. When they're free, you get that bill. Not literally. But still, you may have to. Because that's what Faye did, okay? She got the belt. with her husband's Boaz. You know the guy named Boaz in the Bible? No pun to his name, but sometimes your Boaz got to get kicked. Not funny? Let's give the Lord a hand. Thank you, God. All right, let's get up. We're gonna declare, I have risen with Christ. All right? You're a new creation. You're a new creation, and if you've been risen with Christ, you don't do that nonsense before. You don't go, when I was addicted for smoking 20 years and I tried to quit, I would look into the ashtrays and look at someone else's butt, the cigarette butt, not people's butt. And because I'm trying to quit and I don't want to go buy a pack, I would go and grab a butt that's a used butt. Now think about it, it's nasty. Someone else smoked it. And that's how, when you get close to addiction, you're going to do a lot of stupid things. And you'll let people use you. And you'll go swimming in the gutter, in the sewers, because you want that hit. And I used to do that. I would take the little cigarette butt it wasn't, it wasn't so short. Someone looking at me. We do really dumb things, okay? And we have to choose that you're not going to do dumb things. And so I chose, when God delivered me from my smoking, and I did some dumb things by cheating on the smoking, I had to make a decision, okay? My choice! No more. Otherwise, I'm going back to the sewer.